Good morning, Vikings. The following video outlines 2 years of quality thinking, discussion, debate, and ultimately consensus about academic integrity and the details of our new approach to this important topic. Academic integrity is a focus of ours this year, and Dr. Negraval, co-chair and teacher in the Social Studies Department, and Ms. Manganello, Library Media Specialist, will now share our new process, our new tiers, a few examples of violations, and the consequences that will be imposed for those students who do not comply with our expectations. Please pay careful attention to the details, which can also be found in our Code of Conduct.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Negraval, and I'm one of the teachers that was on the committee that helped to come up with new guidelines, changes, and procedures to South Brunswick's new integrity policy. Over the past few years, we've collected lots of data and information from students and faculty members, and we realized that we needed to focus on making sure that SBHS was building a community of learners that value learning and the learning process, not simply going through the motions. But we wanted people to understand there's value in the creative process and creating original work. We also felt that integrity was an equity issue, with some students having an unfair advantage or possibly not being treated the same way. We were hoping to build something that also created consistency, clarity, and a system of consequences while acknowledging that mistakes happen and school is a safe place to learn from them. So whether you're a freshman or someone who has been at SBHS last year, there's some important things you should know. We put a lot of effort into making sure that we clearly define the roles and responsibilities for teachers, students, guardians, and administrators in this process. Because we know that not every integrity violation is the same, there are now 3 tiers that help us provide consistency. There's also a new warning system, a simple appeals process, and the concept of academic probation, which I'll discuss in a moment. So let's talk about how we're going to classify integrity violations moving forward. Like I said, there are 3 new tiers. And Tier 1 violations are those that involve minor assignments. And your teacher will let you know how your teacher defines minor. But these usually will involve homework assignments or small oversights in projects. Some examples would be copying homework, allowing your homework to be copied, working together without prior approval from a teacher on something that you're supposed to do individually. Some examples might include someone neglecting to cite a source on a homework assignment, or perhaps pasting an AI response in a social studies worksheet without your teacher's permission. That's the kind of stuff that would be involved in Tier 1.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Manganello, one of your librarians, and I'm here with what an example of a Tier 1 might look like. So let's say that you are in college composition and that you have a homework assignment, but you've chosen to take 2 or 3 sentences from a website that you didn't cite in the homework that you turned in. That would be an example of a Tier 1 violation.
Now, Tier 2 violations are those that involve major assessments, such as tests, quizzes, large papers, larger projects. If you cheat on a test, or you bring a resource or device that you're not allowed to use, you help your friends cheat, or you're using AI on a larger assignment without prior permission, those are all going to count as Tier 2 offenses. One example might be, let's say you're working on a health project and you use AI to create or fill in the answers for the entire project. That would definitely be a Tier 2 violation.
A Tier 2 violation might look like this. Let's say you're in American government and you're doing a paper on the death penalty. Now, this is a research paper that's going to be a considerable amount of your quarter grade. If AI was used to craft the paragraph that discussed the methods of execution when you know your teacher did not allow for AI as part of the planning or preparation for that paper, that would be a Tier 2 violation.
Tier 3 violations are the most serious, and there are 2 ways to be assigned to Tier 3. The first would be a violation with malicious intent, perhaps stealing tests or changing grades in Genesis, possibly falsifying information or signatures. Perhaps you are participating in a group chat that shares answers online to tests. The other way to get a Tier 3 is after multiple Tier 1 or Tier 2 violations. If you've already had a warning and an official Tier 1 violation, the next time you're caught, your 3rd violation, you'd probably wind up in Tier 3.
There are two types of Tier 3 violations. The first is a malicious intent. So for an example, if you stole a teacher's Genesis credentials and logged in without that teacher's permission to change a grade in Genesis, that would be a very serious Tier 3. This might also show a pattern of behavior. So if you have a second Tier 1 or Tier 2 violation when you've already have one on your record, that might also be classified as a Tier 3.
So what happens if you do violate the school's integrity code? Well, since we believe that everyone can make mistakes, you'll get a warning for the first time you have a Tier 1 or a Tier 2 offense. Even though it's just a warning, your teacher will still contact home, and it'll be recorded in Genesis. There is no other adverse effect on your school record. Your teacher will also allow you to make up the assignment for 50% of the original credit. Warnings will have no impact on your ability to enter an honor society or take a class or enter an academic program. There are no warnings, however, given for Tier 3 violations. Once you get past that official warning, your second offense will land you on academic probation. Since this is technically your second violation, this status will be noted in your school record and an administrator will also contact home. Having a status of academic probation is likely to have an impact on your ability to gain acceptance to certain programs, classes, or honor societies. The good thing is that academic probation can be appealed and removed from your record after 1 year without other incidents. We've also built into the system a simple appeals process that allows all students to appeal any official tiered violation to the building principal within 5 days of the incident. So here's a quick recap of the responsibilities for you as students. Number 1, create original work. Do your own work, and don't share your work with others unless you're permitted to do so. Make sure you're comfortable asking questions to clarify the expectations of your teacher. If you're not sure what your teachers are willing to allow as it relates to artificial intelligence or AI tools, just ask them and know the details of the integrity policy. Also, report integrity violations if you see them or hear of them. That will make learning more equitable for everyone at SBHS.
I want to thank Dr. Negravel and Ms. Manganello for sharing our expectations and for outlining our new academic integrity procedures. As a recognized school of character, we want SBHS to continue to be a school of learners who have character and integrity and who strive to be their very best. I implore all of you to think twice before handing in work that is not yours. If you utilize someone else's work, to cite it properly. Most importantly, talk with your teachers so that everyone is on the same page when it comes to academic integrity. Every one of you can do great things and be great thinkers and great writers. Having integrity is an important trait that leaders possess and is a pillar of a school of character, which we are. At SBHS, we want a school of leaders who have integrity.